In the quiet of the night, let us drift softly into the ancient world, where the whispers of Babylon and distant lands speak through the sands of time. Here, empires rose and fell, not only by sword and shield, but also through devotion, belief, and the delicate threads of faith that wove civilizations together. Soft winds carry us along the rivers and deserts where temples glimmered in golden light, and priests and warriors alike listened to the guidance of gods and goddesses. Each story of conflict is a gentle reminder of the human heart seeking connection with the divine. As we travel through these sacred histories, allow your mind to float, imagining the slow cadence of chariots, the silent prayers of temple walls, and the luminous constellations that watched over ancient battles. Tonight, we wander peacefully through time. If your spirit drifts along with these stories, share where you are listening from in the comments, or subscribe to continue these journeys into the soft embrace of history and dreams. The first light of morning spreads gently over Babylon. Soft rays touch the high walls, turning their stones to warm amber. The river glimmers quietly, carrying the whispers of the city as it moves like a silver ribbon through the heart of the land. A light breeze stirs the palms and reeds along its banks, and for a moment, all feels still, as though the world itself is taking a slow, deep breath. Along the streets, dust and sand rest softly, catching the sun's first warmth. The city awakens slowly. Traders open doors with gentle creaks, animals stir in pens, and the faint scent of baked grain drifts through the air. From the distant ziggurats, the tallest towers of Babylon, small figures move like shadows against the softening light. Priests in flowing robes carry clay vessels, their hands steady and calm as they prepare offerings for the gods. Each step is careful, deliberate, filled with reverence, like a soft drumbeat guiding the rhythm of the city's morning. The kings of Babylon rise in quiet chambers, their thoughts turned toward both duty and devotion. Even in the grandeur of their palaces, there is a gentle hush. They look out over the city, past the wide plazas and bustling markets, and imagine the river reflecting not only light, but the hopes and prayers of every soul. Each soldier, each farmer, each merchant moves within this soft glow, part of a living, breathing tapestry of devotion and daily life. You float along the river, carried by the soft current. The waters whisper the stories of ages past. The gods of Babylon watch with patience and serenity. Marduk, the guardian of the city, rests beyond the clouds, and his quiet presence seems to ripple through the morning air. The people do not rush, even as preparations for battle may be quietly spoken of among guards and scribes. There is no tension here, only a calm acceptance of life's rhythm. In the temples, incense curls into the air, thin and delicate like smoke from a tiny fire. The scent is sweet and grounding, filling the chambers with a sense of peace. Candles flicker softly, their golden light mirrored in small pools of water. The priests speak quietly, chanting gentle prayers that float upward, dissolving into the soft morning sky. Their words are like birds in flight, light and unhurried, carrying blessings to those near and far. As the city awakens, the soldiers prepare with careful hands. Their armor glints faintly in the rising sun, not with sharpness, but with a soft sheen like dew upon leaves. They move slowly, aligning shields and sharpening blades with mindful patience. Every motion is deliberate, as though each movement itself is a prayer, each breath a quiet offering. In this early hour, there is no fear, no urgency, only the rhythm of life flowing gently through their veins, as steady as the river below. The streets are filled with soft sounds. The distant clatter of pottery, the hum of conversation, the muted steps of those who walk between stone walls and open courtyards. Children wander quietly, following their parents' calm lead, and the birds awaken, their songs gentle and rhythmic, harmonizing with the soft murmur of the river. Each sound is small, delicate, like the turning of a page in a book no one rushes to finish. Even the wind carries a story. It slides over rooftops and down narrow alleyways, weaving through the gardens and fountains, brushing the temples with quiet reverence. The soft rustle of palm leaves seems to echo the prayers, carrying them into the sky, blending devotion, and the mortal world into a single, gentle breath. The city itself feels alive, not hurried or anxious, but awake in a mindful, soothing way, as though the land and its people are breathing together. You drift slowly past the ziggurats, noticing the patterns carved into their stones, stories of gods and kings intertwined like vines. The carvings speak of victories and wisdom, of protection and guidance, but they do so quietly, like a lullaby whispered across centuries. Each symbol, each figure, radiates a calm light that touches the hearts of those who look upon it. Even battles long past seem to rest here, softened into memory, echoing not with pain, but with a gentle reminder of life's continuity. The river bends gently, guiding your mind along its path. Boats float slowly across its surface, carrying baskets of fruit and grain. The oars dip into water that gleams like polished silver, leaving ripples that spread outward in endless circles. You feel the quiet strength of Babylon, not in noise or fury, but in patience and devotion, in the rhythm of the river and the calm of the rising sun. Every reflection upon the water seems to tell a story, softly illuminating the balance of the mortal and divine. In the palace gardens, fountains spill water into marble basins. The drops scatter like tiny stars, and their gentle patter blends with the songs of birds and the soft sigh of the wind. Priests walk among the gardens, touching flowers and leaves with care, their steps silent on the warm stone paths. Each gesture is deliberate, each breath measured, creating a space where the sacred and the ordinary exist together, quietly and without disturbance. The soldiers pause beside the river, gazing into its slow, steady flow. In their eyes, you see calm reflection, as if they too are touched by the serenity of dawn. There is preparation here, yes, but it is gentle, like planting seeds that will one day bloom. The knowledge of duty does not jar or disturb the spirit. It moves with the ease of flowing water, harmonizing with the quiet light that touches the city. Soft drums echo in the distance, calling for prayer rather than battle. The rhythms are low and steady, like a heartbeat of the city itself. You can hear them faintly, felt more than heard, and they bring a sense of balance and order. The sounds do not rush you. They guide you into a rhythm of your own breath, steady and slow, as if the entire world is exhaling in unison. The priests climb the steps of the ziggurats, their robes trailing behind them like waves of calm. Each footfall seems to release a sigh of devotion into the morning air. From this height, the city stretches like a soft quilt, with streets and gardens stitched together in gentle patterns. You can almost feel the heartbeat of Babylon here, quiet and enduring, not measured in battles fought or victories won, but in the steady pulse of life and reverence flowing together. You drift closer to the walls of the city, where the stones hold the warmth of the rising sun. The gates are open, welcoming travelers, traders, and dreamers alike. Birds circle lazily above, their wings catching sunlight in golden arcs. Even the smallest creatures, from fish in the river to insects among the reeds, seem to follow the quiet rhythm of the morning. The city is alive, but not in haste, alive in harmony, in soft, breathing motion. The kings look once more toward the horizon. Their eyes catch the shimmer of the river, the faint glow of distant fields, and the gentle outlines of temples and towers. There is awareness of duty, yes, but it is tempered by calm, by devotion, and by the understanding that each day begins and ends under the watchful gaze of gods and stars alike. Every whisper of wind, every ripple of water, every quiet song of a bird feels like a blessing, a gentle reminder of balance and serenity. The sun rises higher, casting a golden veil over the city. Light spills over walls and rooftops, across fountains and fields, illuminating the quiet dignity of life in Babylon. Soldiers, priests, and citizens alike move with soft precision, each act an echo of devotion, each breath a thread in the fabric of the city. Even in moments that might seem ordinary, there is a sacred presence, a gentle current carrying hearts and minds toward peace. Now, as the day fully begins, let us pause beside the river once more. The water moves slowly, carrying reflections of sky and stone alike. You feel the gentle warmth of the sun, the soft brush of wind, and the faint murmur of prayers rising toward distant heavens. The city hums quietly beneath the morning light, a living reminder that calm and devotion can exist even where life is full and complex. Let us drift onward through the soft sands of time, through whispers of devotion and echoes of sacred walls. The stars will return, shining gently as night falls, and the river will continue its patient song. Now rest, as the city of Babylon breathes beside you, carrying both the mortal and the divine in its slow, eternal rhythm. The morning drifts slowly over Babylon, carrying with it a gentle light that pools in the curves of the river. You float quietly above the water, where soft ripples reflect the sky in muted gold and silver. The air is warm and still, carrying the faint scent of incense and wet earth. Somewhere in the distance, a temple bell rings, low and steady, like a heartbeat, guiding the city in its soft rhythm. Along the banks of the Euphrates, the grand temples rise like mountains of calm. Their stones glow softly in the sun, worn smooth by centuries of wind and devotion. The temple of Marduk stands proud, its steps wide and serene. You drift closer, noticing the gentle carvings along the walls, lines of sacred stories flowing like the river itself. Each figure moves in stillness, immortalized in stone, echoing the quiet devotion of those who prayed here long ago. The waters lap softly at the edges of the river, carrying tiny reflections of the temples. Light dances across the ripples, flickering like stars that have fallen to the earth. The scent of lotus and myrrh drifts from the temple gardens, wrapping around your mind like a slow, peaceful sigh. Birds circle above, their wings tracing lazy arcs in the air, as if following invisible paths laid down by the gods themselves. Priests move along the temple steps with careful, measured steps. Their robes trail softly behind them, brushing the stone in quiet swishes. They carry offerings of bread and wine, small fires in clay vessels, and bundles of fragrant herbs. Every movement is a prayer in motion, a meditation made visible. The soft crackle of incense and the gentle hum of chants float through the air, filling the spaces between walls and water with calm energy. You drift further along the river, past boats that rock slowly in the current. Fishermen cast nets with gentle patience, their hands steady as they wait for the gift of the waters. In their silence, there is devotion, a quiet acknowledgement of the rhythm of life and the unseen eyes that watch over all. Even the smallest actions here carry a sacred weight, soft and undemanding, like the pulse of the river beneath you. The temple of Ishtar rises on a distant bank, its towers reaching upward with elegant curves. Its walls shimmer in the early light, and the gardens below sway with the gentle breeze. The flowers open their petals slowly, drinking in sunlight and offering a quiet perfume to the morning. You drift among these blossoms, noticing how the petals catch dew like tiny mirrors, reflecting a world that feels peaceful and infinite. Within the temple, priests light more vessels of fire, their flames small and steady. The smoke curls and rises, thin and delicate, carrying prayers upward like invisible rivers. The gods are watching, their presence felt but not pressing. Marduk and Ishtar, distant yet near, observe with calm patience, letting the devotion of mortals flow as naturally as the river itself. Each prayer, each offering becomes part of the gentle rhythm of life in Babylon. From the temple steps, you see the kings of the city moving with quiet dignity. Their hands are folded, eyes lowered in respect, and even in their authority there is stillness. They walk slowly, touching the stones with reverence, allowing the soft hum of devotion to guide them. Decisions that may shape the day, peaceful or otherwise, are made under the watchful eyes of the gods, carried in a calm and steady current that moves through the city like wind through reeds. The river bends and curves, guiding your gaze to small shrines along the banks. Candles flicker in tiny alcoves, their light mirrored in the water. The gentle hiss of flames, the soft scent of oil, the whisper of wind through reeds. These are the simple prayers of ordinary people. Farmers, artisans, and travelers offer quiet devotion without ceremony, letting their hearts speak in soft motions that echo the larger rhythm of the temples. You drift closer to the ziggurats, those high towers of devotion that seem to touch the clouds. From here, the city stretches in calm layers, markets, gardens, streets, and walls, all illuminated by the rising sun. Each stone, each fountain, each tree seems to hum with quiet energy. The air is filled with a sense of balance, as though every living thing is a note in a melody that has no hurry and no end. Soft ripples move across the river, carrying reflections of the sky and temples alike. You imagine the water as a mirror for the soul, holding images of devotion and care, letting them drift gently downstream. Every ripple, every flicker of sunlight seems to remind you that peace can exist even amid the motions of life. Here, in the heart of Babylon, the sacred and the mortal flow together, slow and endless, like a lullaby of wind and water. The priests chant softly again, their voices rising and falling like gentle tides. Words in a language older than memory, carried on the air, become music that you feel rather than hear. The sound reaches even the farthest corners of the city, touching the walls and the waters, brushing the gardens and the rooftops. Even the soldiers pause, listening, allowing the rhythm to wash over them, steadying their hearts for whatever the day may bring. The temple gardens sway in the breeze, their fountains spilling water in soft arcs. You notice the lotus blooms floating like small lanterns on the surface, their petals open and calm. Bees hum in lazy circles, collecting the gift of flowers, moving in harmony with the quiet world around them. The sound of falling water, the scent of herbs, the warmth of sun, and the soft rustle of leaves weave together, forming a gentle fabric of serenity that wraps around your mind. The gods seem close in this hour, not pressing, not demanding, but present, like the gentle light of dawn or the quiet shimmer of stars before night. You feel their watchfulness as a protective energy, flowing through every stone and every drop of water. Even the river seems to move with awareness, carrying reflections of devotion, echoes of prayers, and the soft movements of life along its current. Boats glide silently across the water, laden with goods, each oar dipping into the river like a brushstroke on a canvas of calm. The people aboard move slowly, their gestures soft and careful. Merchants speak in muted tones, children whisper to parents, and fishermen guide their nets with patience. Everything is part of a gentle rhythm, an unhurried cadence that stretches across the city and into the temples, into the river, into the very air itself. The light changes slowly, drifting higher in the sky. Shadows shorten, and the warmth of the sun settles on rooftops, on gardens, on the faces of the devoted. The city is alive, yet not hurried. Every breath, every movement, every prayer flows in harmony with the river, the temples, and the gods who watch with quiet eyes. It is a world where devotion and daily life exist side by side, soft and unbroken. Now, as the river carries its waters gently onward, let yourself drift among the temples and tides. Feel the calm of incense smoke curling toward the sky, the gentle patter of fountains, and the soft footsteps of priests and kings alike. Let the whispers of devotion wash over you like sunlight on water, slow and steady, until your mind settles and your body feels the serenity of this sacred place. Let us drift onward through the calm currents of Babylon, carried by rivers of devotion, surrounded by temples that hold centuries of quiet wisdom. The soft sounds of water, wind, and prayer will guide you deeper into peace. Now rest, as the stars will return and the night will hold the city in a gentle embrace, keeping watch as your spirit drifts among the sacred waters. The sun rises slowly over the desert beyond Babylon, casting long, gentle shadows across the sand. The light is soft, touching dunes and stone walls alike, warming the earth without hurry. A quiet wind moves across the plains, carrying the faint scent of spices and herbs from the city gardens. You float along this morning, drifting above the quiet roads that lead outward, where soft traces of wheels and hooves have left gentle marks in the sand. Along these paths, the chariots of the Babylonian armies rest in stillness. Their wheels are steady, their wood polished and worn smooth, carrying the memory of many journeys. The horses, calm and patient, shift their weight slowly, their breath rising in quiet clouds. You feel the rhythm of their presence as a soft pulse beneath the desert sun, each movement deliberate, yet unhurried. The soldiers tend to the chariots with careful hands. Leather straps are smoothed, wheels aligned, and bows and quivers checked gently, without urgency. Even the smallest gestures seem infused with care, as though the act of preparation itself is a meditation. You drift closer, noticing the light glinting softly on polished bronze and silver, not bright or harsh, but warm and reflective, echoing the golden rays of morning. Above, the sky holds a soft calm, a canvas of pale blue with a few wisps of cloud drifting lazily. The priests have already begun their morning rituals, offering silent prayers to the gods for guidance. Their voices are quiet, almost merging with the sigh of the wind across the dunes. They watch the chariots with steady eyes, interpreting celestial signs, letting the movement of clouds and stars guide their understanding. In this hour, both the earthly and the divine move in harmony, as gentle and patient as the flowing river. You float along the lines of horses, their soft hooves brushing against the sand. Each animal is calm, almost meditative, breathing slowly, steadying the hearts of those who ride them. The chariots seem to hum with quiet potential, not with threat, but with readiness. Every wheel, every rope, every carved emblem is a symbol of care and intention, linking mortal hands with divine guidance. The desert stretches beyond, a sea of gold and amber, soft under the early sun. The sound of hooves is faint, a whisper across the sand. You drift with it, letting your mind float alongside the soldiers as they move in measured patterns, practicing formation slowly and softly. Each motion is intentional, guided not only by human skill but also by celestial omens, signs interpreted with patience and respect. The armies are prepared, yet there is no rush, no clamor, only gentle preparation in rhythm with the land. The winds carry the faint echo of distant drums, low and steady, marking time without urgency. Their beat is like a heartbeat for the desert itself, syncing the city, the chariots, and the sacred rituals into a unified, calming rhythm. The priests interpret these rhythms as guidance, a steady reminder that the gods observe quietly, shaping plans with gentle hands. The sound moves through your mind like a soft lullaby, encouraging slow, deep breaths and calm thoughts. Along the riverbanks, small birds glide in lazy circles above the water, their wings catching sunlight in golden arcs. They seem to watch the preparations below with soft curiosity. Even the smallest creatures are part of this slow unfolding, part of the rhythm of life that touches both armies and temples. Their wings beat in harmony with the silent chariots, a delicate reminder that every being moves within the gentle pulse of the world. The charioteers sit quietly in their vehicles, hands resting on reins, eyes lowered in contemplation. The horses shift gently beneath them, their muscles rippling with soft strength. Each breath taken by rider and steed seems synchronized with the desert wind. Even in preparation for battle, there is a softness, a stillness, a recognition that the path forward is guided by forces both seen and unseen. You drift past the soldiers aligning their formations. Each line of chariots mirrors the flow of the river, the gentle curves of its banks guiding the shapes of the ranks. The sun casts long, warming shadows across the desert floor, blending earth, stone, and sand into a unified, glowing landscape. The scene is full of potential, yet it is not tense. There is balance, patience, and calm precision, like a meditation performed slowly, with intention. Above, the sky begins to deepen in color as clouds move lazily, hinting at patterns that the priests watch with quiet eyes. Stars may yet linger from the night, invisible but sensed, their positions guiding decisions that unfold in soft whispers rather than commands. The city itself seems to breathe along with the armies, every pulse, every rustle, every breath of wind harmonizing into a quiet lullaby of readiness. The soldiers practice gentle maneuvers, chariots sliding across sand in measured arcs. Wheels leave light impressions, fleeting marks that the wind will soon erase. The horses move without strain, their heads bowed slightly, ears twitching in soft attentiveness. Every movement is a balance of strength and serenity, a dance with patience, a reminder that preparation need not disturb the peace of the morning. Near the temples, the incense curls higher, drifting toward the heavens like soft banners of devotion. Priests whisper guidance into the ears of those who command the chariots, pointing to subtle signs in clouds and sunbeams. Their voices are calm, careful, a soft echo across the sands and stones. Even the smallest gestures, an extended hand, a tilted head, a whispered word, carry weight, infused with sacred purpose and gentle reverence. You drift along the lines once more, noticing symbols etched into wheels and chariot frames. They are carvings of lions and stars, suns and moons, gods and guardians. Each image holds silent blessings, offering protection and courage without pressure. The carvings seem to shimmer in the morning light, reflecting hope, patience, and the steady guidance of those who watch from the skis. The desert stretches endlessly, yet there is no emptiness here. Every ripple of sand, every whisper of wind, every glint of metal is part of the sacred rhythm. The armies, the temples, and the river flow together, connected by soft currents of devotion and care. Even the thought of battle is softened, carried along like a leaf on a river, distant and gentle, observed by eyes that see beyond fear. Soft flutes echo faintly from the temples, their notes gentle and winding, wrapping around the chariots and soldiers alike. The music drifts across the desert, harmonizing with hoofbeats, the sigh of wind, and the slow currents of the river. It is a melody without urgency, a lullaby of preparation and patience, grounding every heart in the calm presence of the divine. The charioteers rest their eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of sun on their faces and the steady pulse of their horses beneath them. In this quiet, there is reassurance, a sense that every step, every turn of a wheel, every silent prayer carries them forward safely. The world holds them gently, the desert embraces them, and the gods watch with calm presence. As the day moves forward, the chariots remain poised, ready but unhurried. The soldiers, the horses, and even the sand seem to breathe together in a slow, harmonious rhythm. The river flows nearby, reflecting sunlight and temple towers, carrying the sacred calm across the land. You drift with it, letting the sound of hooves and wheels, the soft winds and distant chants lull your mind and body into ease. Now, as the sun rises fully and the desert bathes in its warmth, let us pause beside the silent chariots. Feel the softness of the sand beneath the wheels, the steady breath of the horses, the calm presence of priests and stars above. Let the gentle rhythms of this morning guide your thoughts into stillness and your mind into a slow, quiet peace. Let us drift onward, past the chariots and desert winds, into the sacred flow of Babylon's days. The river will carry us gently, the temples will watch softly, and the stars will return to shine upon the city when night falls. Now rest, as the silence of preparation cradles you, and the gentle tides of devotion move slowly through your dreams. The night falls gently over the city of Ur, and the stars begin to appear, soft points of silver light scattered across the deep blue sky. You float above the quiet streets, where lamps glow faintly, casting golden pools of light on stone and clay. The river that winds past the city moves slowly, reflecting stars and lanterns alike, carrying their gentle shimmer along its calm surface. The air is cool and still, filled with the faint scent of evening flowers and smoke from small hearths. The city breathes softly in the night. Horses shift quietly in stables, their soft nickers blending with the distant hum of voices. Families move with care along narrow streets, footsteps careful and hushed, as though not to disturb the serene rhythm of the stars. You drift along with them, feeling the peace that settles over the city like a gentle blanket, wrapping all its people in quiet and calm. Above the temple towers, priests stand in meditation, their eyes turned toward the sky. Soft chants rise and fall, like the ripple of water over stones. They watch the stars, interpreting the patterns as signs and guidance from the divine. Each constellation tells a story of protection, devotion, and cosmic balance. You drift closer to the ziggurats, feeling the gentle energy that radiates from these sacred places, a calm presence that touches the hearts of all who pass nearby. The stars shine over the rooftops, their light slow and tender, glimmering on tiles and walls. You notice the intricate carvings along temple walls, symbols of gods and guardians, etched with patience and care. Each line seems to move in the soft starlight, casting delicate shadows that dance like whispers across stone and sand. Even the walls seem to breathe, alive with the devotion of those who built them, their hands guided by reverence and patience. Along the river, small boats rock slowly. Fishermen rest in the quiet of night, their nets drawn in, hands folded in soft contemplation. The water reflects the stars and lamps in rippling patterns, like silver threads weaving across the surface. You drift with the gentle current, feeling the calm energy of as it flows through every stone, every path, every whisper of wind. The priests mark the night with subtle gestures, lifting offerings of grain and flowers, letting smoke curl upward in soft spirals. The incense carries their prayers into the air, into the sky, joining the stars above. Every gesture is slow, intentional, and full of calm. Even the faintest movement feels sacred, as though the city itself recognizes the rhythm of devotion in every breath and step. From the temple heights, you see the city spread like a tapestry, quiet and luminous under the starlight. Courtyards and gardens shimmer softly, fountains murmuring a gentle lullaby. Shadows stretch across the streets, soft and fluid, blending night and stone in gentle waves. In the silence, you can hear the river's steady flow, the whisper of wind through reeds, the soft footsteps of night watchers moving slowly along the walls. The constellations tell stories older than memory. They speak of kings and priests, of soldiers and farmers, of lives intertwined with the divine. Softly, they hint at the ways devotion shaped hearts and actions, guiding choices with a calm hand. You drift among these stories, letting them float like petals on the river, gentle and steady, carrying the wisdom of ages in a soft, peaceful rhythm. Even the guards walking the city walls move quietly, their steps echoing faintly in the calm night. Their hands rest on spears and shields, not with tension, but with readiness shaped by patience. Each heartbeat aligns with the rhythm of the river, the rustle of leaves, and the gentle pulse of stars overhead. There is strength here, but it is quiet, like the deep roots of a tree, unshaken by the passing night. You drift closer to the temple gates, where lamps glow in soft amber. Priests move slowly among the altars, lifting offerings and tracing sacred patterns in the air. Their movements are rhythmic, almost like the sway of reeds in the river's current. The gentle flicker of candlelight reflects in their eyes, carrying warmth and calm into the quiet city streets. Every gesture, every breath becomes a part of the night's soft melody. Above, the heavens shift slowly. Stars glide across the sky in silent arcs, their light painting silver paths over rooftops and courtyards. You notice the gentle hum of night insects, the soft murmur of water over stones, the occasional flutter of a bird settling for the night. These small sounds join together, weaving a tapestry of calm that fills the space between heartbeats, allowing your mind to drift like a leaf on the river's surface. The priests whisper stories of devotion and guidance, of celestial omens that shaped kings' choices and the flow of life. You listen without effort, letting the words sink gently into your awareness, soft as a lullaby. Even the faintest breeze seems to carry the weight of these teachings, bending reeds and dust into slow, graceful patterns. There is no rush, no demand, only the patient unfolding of night, of stars, and of hearts tuned to the rhythm of devotion. The river glows with reflections of starlight, shimmering in silver and blue. Boats drift silently along its course, carrying the faint scent of night flowers and the soft murmur of water. You float alongside, noticing the small details, the curve of a boat's edge, the gentle sway of lanterns, the way light bends over ripples. Each small motion is part of the larger calm, a reminder that even the tiniest moments are sacred and part of the night's harmony. From the rooftops, you hear distant chants, low and steady, like a heartbeat shared between the city and the stars. Their rhythm touches your mind, easing thought and tension, allowing rest to settle softly. The chants rise and fall, blending with the rustle of leaves and the whisper of water, forming a gentle current that carries the soul toward stillness. In quiet courtyards, the people of pause to honor the night. They light small lamps, trace soft patterns in the sand, or lift hands in gentle reverence. Each act is quiet, mindful, and steady, reflecting the devotion that flows through the city like the river itself. Even in moments of rest, the presence of the sacred is felt, a calm that touches hearts and minds without effort or expectation. You drift once more above the ziggurats, their outlines silhouetted against the night sky. The stars hover over the temples, casting silver light that spills across walls and stairways. The carvings along the stone seem to breathe in this glow, telling silent stories of gods, kings, and the gentle weaving of human lives with cosmic guidance. The night here is full, yet not heavy, a space of patience, reflection, and calm that holds the city in soft embrace. Every street, every garden, every ripple on the river seems infused with quiet purpose. Even past conflicts and struggles exist only as whispers, softened by devotion and the passage of time. The stars themselves hold these memories, reflecting them gently in the waters below. You float among them, feeling the calm current of history, the soft rhythm of life, and the gentle hand of divine presence in all things. Now, as the night deepens and the stars shine more brightly, let us pause above once more. Feel the quiet flow of the river, the soft rustle of leaves, the gentle light of lamps, and the whisper of priests' prayers. Let your thoughts drift with the current, slow and steady, carrying the calm of the city into your mind. Let us drift onward, following the silver threads of starlight and river. The heavens watch with gentle patience, the temples hold quiet wisdom, and the city rests beneath the celestial glow. Now rest, as the stars return and the night embraces you, carrying your spirit softly into dreams. Night drifts softly over the temples of Babylon, carrying a quiet hush across the city's rooftops and riverbanks. The air is cool and still, scented with the gentle smoke of incense curling in thin, delicate spirals. You float above the stone steps of the sacred halls, where lamps glow softly in amber pools, casting gentle light on walls carved with stories of gods and kings. Every corner of the temple seems alive with patient, careful devotion. Within the quiet halls, priests move slowly, their robes whispering as they step across smooth stone floors. Hands fold, gestures trace sacred patterns in the air, and soft murmurs rise and fall like the gentle waves of the Euphrates outside. Each motion carries reverence, a meditation made visible, guiding hearts and minds toward the divine. The world beyond the temple fades, only the calm rhythm of devotion remains. At the heart of the temple, prophets sit in meditation, eyes closed, listening to whispers that seem to come from the stars themselves. Their breathing is steady, a quiet echo of the stillness that fills the space. The priests watch the heavens, tracing constellations, following the slow, luminous dance of the night sky. Signs and omens are read not with urgency, but with patient attention, like soft ripples forming across a calm river. You drift closer, noticing the sacred tools laid out with care. Clay tablets bear inscriptions in soft, curving symbols, telling stories of past victories and guidance received from the divine. Oils and herbs are prepared in small vessels, their scents rising in gentle clouds. Even the faintest flicker of a flame seems to carry meaning, illuminating the chambers with a golden serenity that soothes the mind. Outside, the city rests under the silver gaze of the stars. The soft rustle of leaves, the gentle lap of water against the riverbank, and the distant hum of the city form a quiet backdrop. Each sound blends into the temple's calm, wrapping every being in a slow, steady rhythm of rest. The priest's chants rise softly, weaving a melody that stretches from the floors of the temple to the night sky above. The prophets speak in whispers, their voices carried along invisible threads to those who seek guidance. They interpret dreams. Listen to subtle signs in the movement of birds or the shimmer of water, and pass their counsel with care. Their words are slow and deliberate, offering clarity without force, shaping the course of events with gentle, unseen hands. You float among these whispers, feeling their soft energy like a lullaby for the mind. In a courtyard bathed in moonlight, A priest traces symbols in the sand, small fingers pressing carefully into the earth. Each mark is a meditation, a prayer, and a reflection of the balance between mortal effort and divine will. The wind moves softly through the arches of the temple, carrying the scent of flowers and herbs, brushing against the symbols and making them shimmer like silver threads. The world outside is distant. Here, the present is sacred and still. You notice the soft steps of messengers moving along corridors, carrying clay tablets and scrolls to kings and generals. Their movements are careful, unhurried, as if the air itself slows to allow their passage. Each message is a gentle guide, an offering of wisdom wrapped in quiet devotion. The hands that receive them fold them with respect, letting guidance settle slowly into thought, like sunlight spilling into a cool, dark chamber. Beyond the temple walls, soldiers rest in the soft shadows, their armor set aside, their breath slow and even. They listen to the faint chants carried by the night air, feeling the calm reach them without demand. Even the strategies of war are tempered by the rhythm of devotion, shaped by omens and prayers, balanced by careful reflection and the quiet wisdom of those who commune with the divine. The priests light vessels of fire along the temple steps, their flames small and steady. Smoke curls upward in graceful arcs, carrying prayers to the heavens. Stars above reflect softly on the smooth surfaces of water basins and polished floors. You drift through this sacred space, feeling the gentle energy of calm guidance, the quiet patience that shapes destinies without urgency or clamor. Soft drums echo faintly in the distance, marking the slow passage of time. Their rhythm is steady, like a heartbeat shared between city and temple, mortal and divine. Each beat seems to slow the mind, encouraging deep, gentle breaths. The prophets rise to observe the night sky again, tracing constellations that guide kings and priests alike. Every movement is part of the same quiet flow, a meditation in motion, weaving the threads of fate with soft hands. You drift to a window, looking out over the river, its waters shimmering under the moon. The reflection of temples and stars dances in gentle ripples. Boats rest quietly along the bank, their sails lowered. Even the smallest sounds, the splash of a fish, the sigh of a ripple, the rustle of reeds, become part of the lullaby, carrying calm through the city and into the hearts of all who dwell here. Inside, priests kneel in quiet groups, tracing soft symbols on clay, whispering prayers that blend into one another. Their chants are rhythmic and slow, not demanding attention, but offering calm clarity. Every syllable seems to echo across time, connecting the present with generations past. Each act of devotion a thread in the gentle tapestry of guidance that holds the city together. You float among these small actions, feeling the weightlessness of the night and the tender presence of the divine. Even the faintest gestures, an extended hand, a bowed head, a careful inscription, carry soft significance. These acts ripple outward quietly, touching decisions and hearts, shaping moments without urgency, guiding outcomes with patience and care. From high above, the ziggurats stand tall against the moonlit sky. Their outlines are soft, the carvings catching silver light. The stars seem to lean closer, as if listening, their silent brilliance echoing the calm devotion below. Every figure etched in stone, every ritual performed with care, every whisper of prayer becomes part of the night's gentle song, guiding all who dwell beneath it toward reflection, patience, and serenity. The rivers of Babylon move quietly, carrying reflections of moon, stars, and temple lights. You drift along these waters, letting the gentle sway of the current mirror the stillness in your heart. The city sleeps, yet hums softly with life. The priest's guidance, the prophet's interpretations, and the devotion of the faithful flow together like the river, slow, measured, and serene. In the quiet halls, decisions are made with soft breaths and careful thought. Even matters of war, of strategy and strength, are tempered by the gentle hand of the divine. Omens, dreams, and celestial signs guide without urgency, offering calm clarity to kings and generals alike. The night holds all in its soft embrace, allowing hearts to align with purpose and patience, letting minds drift gently toward peace. Now, as the moon rises higher and the stars shine brighter, let us linger in the sacred quiet of Babylon's temples. Feel the calm of incense curling, the gentle rhythm of soft drums, the tender guidance of prophets and priests. Let your thoughts settle as slowly as the ripples of the river, and your heart rest in the steady presence of devotion. Let us drift onward, past temple steps and sacred halls, beneath the gaze of stars that have watched for centuries. The prayers of the faithful carry you gently, the night cradles your spirit, and the divine presence flows quietly through all things. Now rest, as the stars return and the soft murmur of prophecy guides you into dreams. The desert stretches endlessly under the fatting light of the sun, soft waves of golden sand shifting gently in the warm breeze. You drift slowly above the dunes, feeling the calm sweep across the landscape. Shadows stretch long and tender, tracing the curves of the sand as if the earth itself is breathing quietly. The wind carries faint scents of desert herbs and distant fires, mingling with the subtle warmth of twilight. Along the horizon, the outlines of ancient encampments appear, the soft shapes of tents resting quietly, untouched by haste. Banners hang limply, their colors muted in the gentle evening light, moving like slow flames in the tender wind. Horses stand calmly, their breaths rising in soft clouds that vanish quickly into the cooling air. Even in these spaces where soldiers once moved with purpose, there is now only stillness, a meditation of earth and sky. The wind whispers across the sands, carrying with it the echoes of devotion. Priests and travelers of old once walked these paths, their steps light, their hearts guided by faith. You can almost feel their presence, not pressing, not demanding, but gentle and patient, like soft memory brushing against the mind. Each footprint in the sand seems to hold a story of courage, reflection, and care, teaching that strength and devotion move together quietly. Amid the dunes, small oases shimmer softly in the waning light. Palm fronds sway in the breeze, their reflections dancing across still pools of water. You float over these peaceful sanctuaries, feeling the coolness of shade and water contrasting with the warmth of sunlit sand. Birds glide above, their wings slicing the air slowly and with ease, carrying messages of serenity from one oasis to another. Every element of the desert seems alive with calm, a sacred rhythm that speaks softly to all who wander here. In the distance, the remnants of old armies appear as gentle shapes, lines of tents, scattered banners, and the quiet silhouettes of horses resting. The drums and clatter of past battles are gone, replaced by the soft sigh of wind over sand. Even the memory of march and movement seems serene, as though the desert itself has absorbed it and transformed it into stillness. You drift among these gentle echoes, feeling the calm pulse of time and devotion beneath your mind. Soft chants rise from hidden temples nestled among cliffs and rocks. Their melodies are low, flowing like streams of water across the sand, touching all who listen with quiet care. Priests once interpreted the signs of stars and sun, guiding armies and travelers with patience rather than command. Their voices blend with the desert wind, creating a lullaby of devotion that drifts across dunes, softening the edges of memory and thought. You float closer to the tents, seeing faint embers of evening fires glowing like small hearts scattered across the sand. Smoke curls lazily upward, carrying scents of incense and roasted grain. Soldiers and pilgrims alike gather near, their movements deliberate and unhurried. Even the act of preparation is calm, shaped by respect for the land and the divine. Every gesture, no matter how small, seems infused with intention and care, a reflection of devotion carried silently through time. The wind stirs again, lifting tiny grains of sand, which shimmer like silver dust in the fatting light. Each particle seems to float with purpose, tracing invisible paths across dunes and hills. You drift with them, letting the soft movement carry your thoughts away from tension and into serenity. The desert does not rush. It unfolds gently, teaching patience and reflection to those who journey within its quiet embrace. Among the tents, soft music rises from stringed instruments and flutes. The notes float across the sands, delicate and slow, weaving through the soft sighs of wind and the gentle stirrings of night creatures. The melody carries history, devotion, and quiet guidance, reminding all who listen that faith can inspire courage, restraint, and calm understanding. Each note touches the heart lightly, like water trickling over smooth stones. The stars begin to appear one by one in the deepening sky, their light a soft shimmer above the desert. Each constellation seems to hold stories older than the sands themselves, tales of devotion and courage intertwined. You drift beneath this sky, letting the light trace paths across your mind, softening worry and stirring peace. The heavens, the desert, and the echoes of ancient rituals all move together in a gentle, quiet harmony. Occasionally, the faint sound of distant hooves drifts across the dunes. A lone horse moves slowly, guided by a careful hand, its breath rising in small clouds that dissolve quickly. Even in motion, there is serenity. The rhythm of hoofbeats is gentle, like a slow heartbeat, reminding all who wander that strength and devotion can coexist with calm and patience. You float over small shrines hidden among dunes, stones stacked carefully in shapes of reverence. Oil lamps burn softly within them, their flames small and steady against the night breeze. Symbols of gods and guardians shimmer in the light, silent and protective. Each shrine is a quiet offering, a meditation of faith that requires no words, only presence and gentle attention. The desert animals move quietly in the shadows, foxes slinking across sands, owls gliding from palm to palm, and the occasional night bird pausing on a rock. Their movements are soft, deliberate, and peaceful, a reflection of the desert's rhythm. You drift alongside them, noticing how every creature, every ripple of sand, every flicker of fire contributes to the stillness, the sacred calm that fills this vast land. The wind rises slightly, lifting grains of sand that shimmer like tiny stars in the moonlight. You drift with them, feeling the cool touch of night air on your skin. Each breath is slow, gentle, like the desert itself teaching the mind to pause. Even the faintest movement, the ripple of a flame, the sway of a palm, the sigh of water in an oasis, becomes part of the lullaby guiding thoughts into softness and stillness. In the heart of the desert, the echoes of devotion linger. Priests once interpreted the signs of birds and wind, guiding travelers with calm precision. Soldiers moved with careful attention, their actions shaped by faith and reflection. Even as battles were fought, the sacred rhythm of the desert taught restraint, patience, and gentle courage. You feel this ancient wisdom now, settling into your mind like soft sand beneath bare feet. As night deepens, the stars above shine more brightly, casting silver light across dunes and temples. You drift slowly, watching how shadows stretch and merge, how the desert folds into itself in a gentle embrace. The wind whispers its timeless song, and the echoes of devotion, courage, and care fill every space. Even distant hills seem to breathe with calm, soft and measured, guiding the desert's energy into stillness. Now, as the night fully settles over sands and tents, let us linger in this quiet desert. Feel the wind brushing softly against your skin, the gentle pulse of hooves and soft chants echoing in the mind, and the tender shimmer of stars above. Let every breath become slower, calmer, more in tune with the sacred rhythm of this ancient land. Let us drift onward, across dunes and oases, past quiet fires and sleeping tents, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars. The desert holds all in gentle patience, the sands cradling time itself, and the wind carrying devotion softly through the night. Now rest as the sands settle, the stars return, and your mind floats in calm, endless serenity. Night drifts gently over the cities and fields of ancient lands. The sky is deep and velvety, dotted with silver points of light that shimmer like soft lanterns in the vast darkness. You float slowly above rooftops and riverbanks, feeling the calm settle across the land. Even the faintest rustle of leaves or ripple of water seems amplified in the stillness, carrying the whispers of long-forgotten moments into the present. In the quiet of the night, the presence of the divine feels close, tender, and gentle. Temples stand like still guardians, their stones warmed by the lingering light of day. Soft flames from oil lamps flicker against carved walls, casting elongated shadows that sway like slow dancers. You drift past ziggurats and shrines, noticing the care in every line and curve, the devotion etched into stone by patient hands. The sacred spaces breathe with a rhythm all their own, slow and steady, inviting calm into every heart that passes near. The echoes of gods ripple softly through the air. They move in subtle patterns in the alignment of stars, the ripple of rivers, and the quiet passage of clouds across the sky. Priests and prophets once read these signs with careful attention, noticing the faintest hints of guidance. You drift among their memories, feeling the delicate hum of wisdom that shapes hearts and actions without hurry, without force, merely through gentle resonance. Along distant hills, the soft rustle of banners and the glint of ceremonial armor appear as shapes in the moonlight. Armies of long ago moved with purpose, yet even their motions were tempered by the silent guidance of the divine. The wind carries faint whispers of commands once heard in dreams, of omens seen in the flight of birds or shimmer of fire. The world seems to pause as you drift through these memories, allowing each echo to settle softly into the night. Inside quiet chambers, priests kneel with folded hands, listening to dreams that speak in symbols and signs. Their breaths are slow, their voices rising and falling in gentle tones. The flicker of candlelight on stone walls illuminates subtle carvings of gods, guardians, and sacred animals. Every shadow seems to carry a story, and every flame seems to hum with the calm energy of devotion. You float among them, absorbing the quiet messages of patience, guidance, and serene understanding. Rivers reflect the night sky in gentle silver and blue. Each ripple carries the soft murmur of distant prayers, whispers that rise from temples and sacred places. You drift along these waters, noticing the small boats that glide silently, their sails lowered in the hush of night. Every movement, every reflection, carries a sense of purpose and peace, a reminder that guidance from the divine often arrives as a quiet nudge rather than a loud call. The stars above shift slowly, forming constellations that tell tales older than the cities below. Warriors and kings once looked to these patterns for courage and direction. Even the faintest glimmer can guide a heart if observed with calm attention. You drift beneath their soft light, feeling the subtle touch of wisdom that flows through constellations, rivers, and temple halls alike. The night seems to hold all knowledge without effort, allowing minds and hearts to settle in gentle reflection. Soft drums echo far off, not sharp or commanding, but slow, measured, a pulse that harmonizes with the rhythm of the land. Priests once used these sounds to mark time, to call attention to moments of reflection, and to weave ritual with calm precision. You listen to the faint resonance, feeling it move through the quiet air, through stone and sand, carrying a sense of timeless care. Every beat seems to cradle the soul, letting it drift, unhurried, into serenity. Oases dot the landscape below, their waters still and dark under the silver gaze of the moon. Palm fronds sway softly in the night breeze, casting shadows that dance slowly across the surface of pools. Birds glide through the sky with gentle ease, following invisible currents of wind. You drift among these sanctuaries, noticing how even in stillness, life flows quietly and in harmony with the divine. Every ripple, every movement, every whisper of wind is a soft echo of God's guidance. In distant temples, priests lift hands in silent prayer, their eyes tracing patterns in the night sky. The symbols they follow are subtle, the glint of light on water, the rustle of leaves, the arc of a bird's flight. Each sign is interpreted with patience and care, a meditation in motion. The gods' messages arrive quietly, softly, like the slow bloom of a flower. You float among these small, meaningful acts, absorbing the gentle rhythm of attention and devotion that shapes the night. Even armies moving in the distance are guided by unseen hands. Horses tread softly over sand and stone, their steps measured, aligned with the faint pulse of celestial wisdom. Generals once paused to interpret dreams, observing the subtle signs of the wind, the fire, and the stars. Strategy and faith met not in haste, but in calm reflection, creating a gentle balance between action and patience. You drift through these moments, feeling the soft convergence of mortal effort and divine guidance. The night deepens and the stars shine more brightly, their light spilling across hills, rivers, and temples. You notice the small lamps flickering in distant cities, their glow mirrored in pools of water in calm courtyards and in quiet streets. The divine seems to move in every corner, not as a force, but as a gentle current, touching hearts, guiding minds, and whispering softly in dreams and omens. The sacred echoes of God seem to gather in the still air. Soft chants rise from temples, mixing with the sigh of wind through reeds and the gentle lap of water along riverbanks. The resonance carries patience, wisdom, and serene guidance, calming even the most restless thought. You drift among these sounds, letting them wrap around your mind, easing tension and inviting your spirit into gentle rest. Even distant hills seem alive with quiet reverence. Shadows stretch and bend in the moonlight, tracing patterns across the landscape like slow, deliberate gestures. The desert and river, temple and city, all hum softly with echoes of devotion, courage, and reflection. You float through this quiet symphony, feeling each soft note, each gentle whisper, settling calmly in your heart. Now, as the night deepens fully, let us linger in this sacred space. Feel the subtle touch of stars above, the gentle pulse of water below, the soft resonance of prayers and chants rising into the sky. Let every breath become slower, more measured, more in tune with the rhythm of the divine. The echoes of God surround you, tender and unobtrusive, guiding you into calm awareness. Let us drift onward through rivers, temples, and starlit skies. The night holds all in gentle patience. The divine flows softly through every moment, and the echoes of God's carry you into deep, serene dreams. Now rest as the stars return, and the sacred whispers settle you into peaceful slumber. The night sky stretches endlessly over the lands that lie beyond Babylon, soft clouds drifting slowly across the silver glow of the moon. You float above rolling plains and gentle hills, feeling the hush of the evening settle over distant cities. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of rivers and earth, mingled with the warmth of fatting fires from distant villages. Shadows lengthen and merge as the stars above begin their quiet, steady dance. Beyond the walls of Babylon, neighboring lands breathe in the same calm rhythm. Assyria rests under a blanket of starlight, its temples glowing faintly in the gentle night. Persia's plains stretch outward, silent and vast, the soft murmur of wind through grass and sand carrying stories older than the cities themselves. You drift over these lands, noticing the care in every curve of river and rise of hill, the tender attention that life gives to the spaces it inhabits. Temples rise softly from the earth, their stones warmed by candlelight and moonlight. Each structure, carefully built by hands guided by devotion, holds the quiet resonance of faith. Priests move with gentle precision, their footsteps soft against worn floors. The air within is thick with incense, curling slowly toward the heavens, carrying prayers whispered long ago. You drift among these sacred spaces, feeling the subtle hum of reverence that threads through walls and columns alike. Kings and leaders of old once looked to the sky, reading the movements of stars and planets to guide their decisions. Even armies, marching across these lands, moved with a rhythm influenced by unseen hands. The wind carries the faint echo of hooves and banners, softened now into whispers. Each movement, each action, is shaped by devotion, reminding all who wander here that belief and courage often walk together in gentle balance. In the quiet of night, the rivers glimmer like silver threads connecting lands and people. Water laps softly against stone banks, carrying with it the reflections of temples and fires. You float above these waterways, feeling the subtle pull of currents, the tender guidance of nature itself. Alongside these rivers, small boats drift silently, sails lowered, gliding without rush, as if even the water knows the rhythm of patience and reflection. The stars above form constellations familiar to those who once guided their journeys by night. Each pattern tells stories older than the walls of Babylon, tales of kings and priests, warriors and pilgrims, each guided by faith and quiet wisdom. You drift beneath their light, feeling the soft pulse of ancient knowledge threading through every city, field, and temple below. The heavens move slowly, tenderly, like a lullaby sung across time. Soft fires glow in distant camps and settlements. Their light flickers across tents and stone structures, casting gentle shadows that sway with the breeze. Soldiers and travelers rest in these quiet spaces, their movements calm, deliberate, and careful. Even in preparation for journeys or battles, there is serenity, a slow unfolding of intention guided by faith and devotion. You drift above, noticing how the gentle rhythm of life here mirrors the soft pulses of the stars and rivers. In temples tucked among hills and valleys, priests kneel in quiet reflection. Their hands fold gently, eyes tracing the glimmer of candles and sacred symbols. Dreams and omens are read softly, guiding actions without demand, suggesting paths with care rather than force. The divine seems present in every flicker of flame, every ripple of water, every hush of wind. You drift among these moments, feeling the subtle touch of guidance that floats silently across the land. Oases shimmer in the moonlight, pools of still water surrounded by palm trees swaying softly. You glide over these sanctuaries, noticing the gentle way animals move through the night. Birds trace slow arcs across the sky, foxes and deer move quietly among shadows, and the occasional owl glides from branch to branch. Every movement, no matter how small, carries the serene rhythm of life, reflecting the soft echo of devotion that fills these lands. Even distant mountains seem to breathe with calm. Their slopes roll gently, shadows stretching and merging in the light of the moon. You drift along these peaks, feeling the quiet presence of nature intertwined with human devotion. Every rock, every tree, every whisper of wind is a note in the lullaby of these lands, a melody shaped by faith, patience, and gentle reflection. The echoes of gods and ancestors ripple softly through the air. You notice the faint hum of chants and prayers carried by the wind, moving from one temple to another, from city to city. The resonance touches all who listen, calming restless thoughts, soothing hearts, and guiding the mind into gentle stillness. Even the faintest sound, the rustle of leaves, the lap of river water, the sigh of wind, becomes part of this sacred harmony. In the quiet streets of distant cities, lanterns flicker softly, their light mirrored in the still pools of water that line the roads. People move slowly, deliberately, each step a gentle acknowledgement of the night's calm. Even in places once filled with urgency or preparation, there is now only serenity. You float above, feeling how devotion and reflection guide actions, shaping hearts as softly as rivers shape the stones along their banks. The wind stirs again, lifting tiny grains of dust and sand, which shimmer like silver in the moonlight. You drift with them, feeling the soft movement carry your mind into calm and gentle thought. Every ripple of wind, every flicker of flame, every soft echo of a distant chant becomes part of the night's lullaby. The lands beyond Babylon breathe slowly, peacefully, offering the gift of stillness and quiet reflection. Now, as the night deepens fully, let us linger among these cities and rivers, hills and temples. Feel the soft glow of fires and lamps, the gentle pull of rivers, the quiet resonance of prayers and dreams. Let every breath slow, letting the calm sweep through body and mind. The lands beyond Babylon carry a quiet patience, a steady rhythm, and a gentle wisdom, all waiting to cradle the soul. Let us drift onward, past walls and rivers, through temples and oases, beneath the silver glow of stars. The night holds all in tender care. The divine moves softly through every moment, and faith guides all with gentle hands. Now rest, as the stars return, and the distant lands settle into calm, eternal serenity. The night has settled softly over ancient lands, and the rivers gleam like ribbons of silver under the gentle gaze of the moon. You float above their quiet curves, feeling the calm sweep over your spirit. The water moves slowly, carrying memories of distant days, of moments of courage and devotion, of lives intertwined with faith and nature. The air is cool and fragrant, carrying whispers of reeds, earth, and distant fires, mingling like a soft lullaby across the landscape. Along these sacred waterways, small boats glide with quiet ease. Their sails are lowered, and the gentle lapping of water against wood becomes a soothing rhythm. You drift among them, noticing how even the simplest movement seems guided by patience and reflection. Each ripple mirrors the stars above, and each reflection seems to carry a memory of ancient prayers, whispered quietly by priests, warriors, and travelers alike. Temples rise along riverbanks, their walls softened by the glow of moonlight. Inside, the air is warm with incense, curling upward in slow spirals toward the heavens. Priests and scribes move gently through halls, their steps careful, their hands lifting scrolls or vessels with reverence. Here in these sacred spaces, the divine seems near yet subtle, present in every flicker of candlelight and every ripple of air. You float past these halls, feeling the soft pulse of devotion echoing through the night. Even the lands beyond the rivers seem hushed, as if the water itself carries a calm that spreads outward. Hills roll gently, dotted with quiet villages and solitary trees. You drift above them, sensing the harmony between earth and sky, between human effort and the unseen guidance of the divine. Every movement of wind or water feels intentional, yet effortless, a reminder that calm can carry wisdom without noise or urgency. The reflections on the water shift gently with each passing wave. You notice the faint shapes of soldiers long ago, their armor soft in the moonlight, their movements measured and deliberate. They walked beside these rivers, sometimes in triumph, sometimes in retreat, yet always touched by the quiet guidance of faith. The water remembers their steps, their prayers, and their moments of pause. You float above, letting each reflection wash over your mind, easing tension and carrying a soft sense of continuity through time. Birds drift through the night sky, tracing slow arcs above the rivers. Their wings move with quiet grace, lifted by currents you cannot see, guided as gently as the rivers themselves. You follow them in your drift, noticing how every movement, no matter how small, seems aligned with the quiet order of the world. Even in places once touched by battle or struggle, life finds a rhythm that carries the heart toward serenity. Along the banks, reeds sway softly, brushing against one another with the tender movement of wind. Their rustle becomes a gentle accompaniment to the quiet lap of water, the distant hum of temple bells, and the faint chant of prayers carried by the breeze. You drift among these sounds, noticing how each one, though simple, contributes to a greater harmony. The night holds all in gentle balance, and even the smallest echo of life seems sacred. At quiet junctions where rivers meet, the waters mingle slowly, each current carrying its own history. Reflections overlap, creating patterns that shift and shimmer with the faint light of stars. You float above these junctions, sensing how past and present converge here. Warriors, travelers, and priests once paused at these waters, finding moments of reflection and guidance. The rivers carry those echoes still, offering calm to any who pause to notice. Lanterns flicker in distant towns along the river's edges. Their warm light glows in windows, casting gentle shadows on streets and courtyards. People move slowly, speaking in whispers, their actions shaped by routine care and devotion. Even in the quiet hum of ordinary life, the sacred is present, threaded through gestures, reflections, and the gentle movement of water and wind. You drift above, absorbing the calm resonance of these moments, letting them settle into your own spirit. In the temples and shrines, priests interpret dreams and omens beside the rivers. Their hands rise and fall, tracing symbols in the air, on water, or across sand. They do so with gentle patience, aware that divine guidance often comes as a quiet nudge rather than a thunderous call. You drift among these meditative acts, sensing the softness of attention and care, the slow weaving of faith into every movement. The rivers themselves seem alive with memory. Gentle waves carry whispers of the fallen and the victorious alike, their moments of courage and hesitation reflected softly in silver patterns. You float above, letting each ripple remind you of continuity, of lives touched by devotion, and of calm lessons carried forward by time. Each reflection offers a quiet invitation to pause, to breathe, and to let the heart settle in trust. As the night deepens, the stars multiply, mirrored by the water below. Every glimmer above and below seems a message of quiet constancy, a soft guide for the wandering mind. You float gently between these mirrored skis, letting the calm reach through every thought, every muscle, every pulse of breath. Even in a world once touched by conflict, the rivers hold peace, and peace flows like water into every corner of the spirit. Soft breezes lift from the banks, brushing across your senses. They carry the fragrance of reeds, faint smoke from fires, and the whisper of distant prayers. You drift among these currents, noticing how even the smallest motion connects you to the larger, slow rhythm of the land. Every sound, every scent, every subtle touch of wind carries the quiet echo of faith, urging the heart to rest. Now, as the rivers glisten under the gentle moonlight, let your mind follow the flowing water. Drift along the soft curves, through temple shadows, past quiet boats, and beneath the slow dance of stars above. Feel the history, the prayers, the reflection of countless lives, all moving together in calm harmony. Let the rivers carry your thoughts as they have carried so many before, guiding you gently into serenity. Let us drift onward along sacred waterways, past hills and temples, beneath silver skies and starlit waters. The night enfolds all in quiet care. The rivers mirror the heavens, and the gentle echoes of the past soothe the spirit. Now rest, as the stars return, and let the calm of these rivers flow deep into peaceful dreams. The sky is painted in soft shades of amber and rose as the sun slowly dips beneath distant hills. You float gently over quiet cities and fields, feeling the tender hush that settles across lands once stirred by the echoes of conflict. Even as the shadows lengthen, there is no fear, no tension, only the soft breath of evening carrying the promise of rest. Temples glimmer faintly in the fading light, and rivers reflect the colors of the sky, rippling like gentle thoughts across the land. Beyond the walls of ancient cities, the plains lie calm. The dust has settled from battles long past, and the earth remembers the courage and care of those who walked upon it. You drift above, noticing how even the smallest movement of wind, the quiet sway of trees, and the gentle lap of water against riverbanks seem to honor the lives and devotion that shaped these lands. Every detail, no matter how slight, holds the quiet resonance of history, softened now into peace. Temples rise softly against the horizon, their stones warm in the last rays of the sun. Priests move slowly through shadowed halls, their hands lifted in gestures of reverence, eyes tracing the glimmer of candles. The air is fragrant with incense, curling upward in slow spirals, carrying prayers that stretch back through generations. Even the faintest whisper of wind seems to carry sacred messages, touching every heart in gentle reassurance. You float among these spaces, feeling the quiet weight of devotion, the stillness of souls aligned with the divine. Along the rivers that weave through the land, boats drift silently, sails lowered, carrying travelers and goods without urgency. Water reflects the soft glow of twilight, blending the sky and earth into a seamless calm. You drift above, sensing the quiet harmony that guides each movement, the gentle push of current, the soft brush of wind, the tender guidance of unseen hands. Even the remnants of armies, their banners long faded, seem absorbed into the rhythm of the land, resting now in gentle memory. The mountains in the distance rise slowly, bathed in amber and silver light. Shadows stretch and merge, yet there is serenity here, a stillness that invites reflection. You float past peaks and valleys, noticing how every curve of stone and slope of earth seems shaped not only by nature, but also by the devotion of those who once lived, prayed, and dreamed here. Each rock, each tree, each whisper of wind carries the faint pulse of care and contemplation, guiding the mind towards stillness. Birds trace arcs through the soft sky, their wings moving slowly, lifted by quiet currents. You follow them in your gentle drift, noticing how every motion seems harmonious, deliberate, yet effortless. Even in lands once stirred by conflict, life now moves with quiet rhythm. The soft hum of evening, leaves brushing, water flowing, distant bells ringing, forms a lullaby that winds gently through all spaces, touching every thought with calm. Across distant plains, lanterns flicker in villages and towns. Their warm light glows in windows and along quiet streets. People move softly, their steps measured, their voices lowered, as if the night itself guides them towards stillness. Even in spaces once filled with urgency and preparation, the The calm has returned. You drift above, feeling how devotion and reflection shape every action, softly enfolding hearts and minds into peace. The echoes of gods move gently through the lands. Their presence is subtle, a soft resonance in the air, a whisper through leaves, a ripple across water. Temples and shrines respond to this quiet energy, holding prayers, dreams, and moments of reflection from countless generations. You float among these sacred spaces, feeling the tender rhythm of guidance that neither demands nor hurries, but simply carries all in gentle care. Along riverbanks, the water shimmers in the fading light. Reflections of temples, lanterns, and distant fires mingle with stars appearing in the sky above. Each ripple seems to hold the memory of courage, devotion, and quiet contemplation. You drift over these waters, letting the gentle motion carry your mind into a state of ease. Even moments once marked by conflict now blend into soft waves of reflection, inviting rest and serenity. In the hills, distant temples hum with quiet energy. Candles flicker and incense curls upward, tracing delicate patterns in the twilight air. Priests and pilgrims move slowly, carefully, in alignment with the calm of evening. You float past these sacred sites, feeling the soft presence of devotion woven through stone and air, rivers and stars. Every subtle sound, the rustle of leaves, the faint chanting, the lap of water, forms part of a tender lullaby. Now, as the sun fully slips below the horizon and twilight deepens, the land rests. Shadows stretch into gentle blue and silver, and stars begin to shimmer faintly in the vast sky. Rivers, fields, temples, and villages all merge into a quiet, unified calm. You float above, feeling the harmony of life and devotion, the echo of prayers long spoken, and the gentle guidance of the divine moving softly through the world. Let your thoughts drift with this evening calm, past temples, rivers, hills, and the soft songs of gods. Let each breath slow, carrying the serene pulse of the lands once stirred by human courage and devotion. The night enfolds all in quiet care, the stars reflect upon rivers, and every whisper of wind or water carries the lullaby of peace. Let us drift onward, beyond walls and battlefields, into the gentle embrace of twilight. Now rest, as the stars return, and let the eternal light of devotion guide you softly toward dreams, carrying serenity into every corner of the mind and heart.